Welcome to Totally Talent Podcast by HR.com, your go-to source for all things talent. Whether you're looking for expert insights on high-volume hiring, the latest trends in recruitment technology, or strategies for building a winning team, we've got you covered. Join us for each episode as we dive deep into the challenges and opportunities shaping the talent landscape today. Let's get started.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Totally Talent. I'm your host, Mike Wood, and I'm, as always, with HR.com. And I have a wonderful guest today, one of my members from our advisory boards. You'll know that HR.com has many advisory boards where we talk to practitioners in the space about what they want to see coming up in the next year. Well, Haley is one of those people. Haley, do you remember which board you're on?
Yes, of course. It's for the survey for the recruitment tech and tools and
Yes.
to learn all about the future of recruitment and tech. I love it.
Awesome. So, Haley, welcome to the podcast. I love showcasing new voices in the space and people that have an opinion, and let's get you out there and share your thoughts. You're kind of my go-to person for employer branding lately. It's something you're very passionate about? Can you tell me about like what you do in employer branding or where you work now?
Yes, of course. Well, hello, everyone. Hello to all your listeners. My name is Haley De La Grana, previously known as Haley Sasser. Just got married last year, so still getting used to the new name. I have been in the employer branding space for over 10 years now. And most recently, I've been at McKesson, a huge healthcare company, and I've been there for about 2 years on the recruitment, marketing, and brand team. So that's been really an exciting shift from my previous roles in software at software companies. So yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
So you're big enough that you have a specific employer brand function within the business, right? It's not just added on somewhere. You specifically have people controlling the employer brand, right?
Yes, of course. And so, previously I was at smaller companies where I was a team of one. Like I was the one employer brand person, and at an even smaller company, I had multiple hats. I was employer brand, internal comms, all these different things. But it's amazing because here at McKesson, they really put a lot of importance and focus on the employer brand of the company, and so we actually do have a small but mighty team here at McKesson, and I'm very proud to be a part of it. And it's fun to actually be a part of a team finally, rather than being kind of like a solo employer brander.
No, it's good to have resources. So number one,
Mhm.
as recruiting teams get
Definitely.
smaller, more resources. So tell me some of the stuff that you do to not only establish an employer brand, but monitor it. Like just kind of like put me into like, what's your life like in looking at your hiring brand?
Yes. So, I mean, essentially, your employer brand is your overall reputation, how your employees feel about working there. It encompasses everything like your culture, your values. Um, we are essentially a marketing function for talent acquisition. And so I like to think of us as like a miniature advertising agency, but specifically for recruiting and attracting talent. So everything that you see on social media or on, Glassdoor, Indeed, different platforms like that, and even direct email campaigns. Um, that's everything to do with your employer brand. Whenever you're showcasing your company's people and their stories and why they enjoy working there, that's your employer brand. And so our team does a lot. We are able to do full, social media campaigns, email campaigns, nurturing prospective talent. Um, we manage our careers website, lots of different aspects of what we do as a team, but um, even reputation management, looking on Glassdoor and Indeed and really analyzing those different reviews, responding to them, figuring out like employee sentiment, candidate sentiment. Um, yeah, there's a lot of different aspects to this world, and it's a lot of times it's um, kind of like on the side of someone's desk in talent acquisition. but there really isn't a way to make that long standing. And,
Yeah.
hiring an employer brand person is, I think, a really great idea for a lot of companies if you're looking to hire and attract people to your company.
It's I mean, it's a whole nother group of stakeholders. And if like it's not a mission critical function until it is. Until like
Hmm.
you've done it wrong or you need to change something or you find out like your reputation's going to exist out there whether you try to add to it or not. Like people are going to
Hmm.
talk. People are going to say, I wouldn't work there. That place is crazy. You and I had talked a little bit. I originally reached out to you because of the whole astronomer thing with the Coldplay concert. And that was one of the first work scandals that we've had that you watch unfold in real time. Like, I mean,
Yes.
it's so I will say that, these people, they're doing stuff in their own lives. I don't want to talk about the families or whatever. They made mistakes, whatever. The problem is, what's that going to do to astronomers? So I want to hear your original,
Mhm.
like, what did you think when you saw, oh my God, like, what is their hiring going to be like?
Exactly. There are so many facets to this scandal. And, on one hand, it's hilarious. On the other hand, it's tragic and sad. um, but I did have a lot of my friends reaching out to me because they know that I'm, in the HR world. And people are reaching out, being like, of course, the head of HR is the one doing the bad things and, with the CEO and all of that. So, um, in terms of employer branding, I think that this is something that will hurt their talent attraction efforts because, I mean, who really wants to join a company that's like ridden with scandal?
Or different
um,
rules for the executives, different rules for us is,
yes, exactly. And it
and I
all
was
comes
telling people
down
that,
to like
yeah.
company culture.
And there's no way that the staff didn't know that that was going on. Like there may be
Hmm.
rumors and stuff. I've worked at many places where you see things or you've been at events and stuff and you always see things and you never really like
Hmm.
you could have the wrong idea about something, but you don't want that within your company and you don't want it within, as blatant as that is. Now I would have said that, so this happened, I want to say on like a Wednesday or a Thursday. And I was like, they got to get out a crisis statement. They got to do all this stuff because I used to work in
Hmm.
comms. But what they did with Gwyneth Paltrow, A plus. It's a horrible thing to happen to them. And they took it and they said, you know what? We can laugh at ourselves. And so
Hmm.
I'm not applying to jobs there. If they want to throw a ton of money at me, so that's different. But it just made me say like I would love to work at a place that was able to laugh at themselves. Because I've been at places where they take things a little bit too seriously. Like I was just like, okay, it
Hmm.
happened. They they turned it around. Like that was pretty good. And
Hmm.
now everybody's gonna see what they do next. But like that stopped the argument. Like that was kind of funny. Humor wins every time.
Yes. Yes, of course. I thought that, the days leading after, it was like, what's going to happen? They put out a short, kind of PR crisis statement. We're launching an investigation and all this kind of stuff. And then, shortly after, the CEO resigned. I think the chief people officer, she also resigned a couple days later. Um, and so everything was like very heavy and serious. And so I think the Gwyneth Paltrow video that they did was so clever and so good. And it actually kind of taught people a little bit about what their company does and that they have an event coming up. Like, I was like, wow, this was really smart of them to do. And I think that is definitely a turning point. And even just having that video could help attract people to want to work there. Cause I think in the days after, it was very much like, oh no, I would never want to work there. But I think as long as they keep up on the trajectory that they're on and maybe they have a whole transformation of their leadership and their cultural values and things like that, then I think they might be okay.
Yeah, and the culture starts from the top too. So
Hmm.
I've been at places where things can get a little bit crazy, and that always opens like the whole like work hard, we play hard type of thing. Okay, that just means we're at work all the time, and the only time we can have fun is with each other. Um,
Yeah.
I would like that's one of the things I realized as I got older was wait a second, we're not all forced to be around each other all the time at other companies. So, um, but
Hmm.
I just kind of like wanted to to talk with you about the importance of the employer brand today. And
Hmm.
if I'm an organization, what's the first thing that I should do? Should I start with like, okay, what do you stand for? Should I
Hmm.
start highlighting my employees, or like what's the kind of game plan?
Yes. Yeah. I think a great place to start is by looking at what you have that already exists. So take your company culture, your values, the things that are kind of a little bit cheesy at times, but try to bring those to life. So if you don't have an employer brand person within recruiting, you can always tap on your corporate marketing team to see what their bandwidth is and um, start there because they're marketing and advertising experts already at your company and you can provide them with, hey, here's some highly engaged employees who would love to share their story. Can you make some, 1 minute videos of each? And then we can put them out on social. Your recruiters can use them in their in mails and their sourcing strategies. Like, your own employees can post those videos on social and things like that. You can put them on your career site. So I think just starting off with maybe like a little library of content that you can use that really showcases your company, what you stand for, showcases specific people. Um, that's a great place to start.
Yeah, go right to the college playbook of like what is it like attending this school? Like show me other
Hmm.
students that are going there. Show me successes they've had. Show me what, a day in the life is like and how much fun it is to be a part of that organization. Don't show me the
Hmm.
warehouse where I am just like stuck all day for 12 hours a day or you know um
Yeah, and I think like specificity is what really sticks out because a lot of times people will just say, "Oh, I just love working here. It's collaborative and I love my manager," or things like that. But what you need is to have specific stories of people talking about how that comes into play. Because if you're just generic about it, people won't really, it's not very believable. Um, so I always think back to the story of when I was at my first company, which was Ultimate Software, now known as UKG. Um, and when I first started, I was fresh out of college and they always said like, "Oh, we're a very like caring culture. Like we're people first." That was the slogan. And you don't really believe it until you experience it. And right when I started, like just 2 months in, I barely know anyone. My grandmother passed away. And I was like, "Oh no, like now I have to take off work and go to this like funeral." And I was like nervous about telling my manager and stuff like that. And then they were literally like, "Take as much time as you need." They sent me flowers. They, treated me to lunch when I got back and like asked me to share stories about my grandmother. And I was like, "Oh my God, I love this
just
place."
making they're
So,
making the wound deeper.
but it just really showed that they were a culture of very caring people and teammates. And they don't just say, you know, they, what's the saying? They don't just talk the talk, they walk the walk.
Yeah. Well, and you want I feel like more and more people, if they have to choose where they want to work for a place that actually cares about them. That you're not just a
Hmm.
number, you're not just a line item that's
Hmm.
going to get replaced by AI. Like if you want
Hmm.
real candidates, show them real compassion, show them what it's really like working there. Show them that
Hmm.
I think that there is so much. I mean, I've told too many people, but I've had 3 jobs in 5 years because of layoffs, and it's just like, so if I were to look at something, the number one thing I would look for is stability. because
Hmm.
I've been burned by it. And I've been burned by, organizations that say they're going to go one direction and then completely 6 months later they change their mind and I'm out on the street. So I think that, you know, as it gets harder and harder to land a job through these
Hmm.
massive places like LinkedIn, you can't really stand out on LinkedIn anymore. You're going to have to, if you invest into your employee career page and make it a big part of your identity, you're going to save money on getting these candidates, and you'll get the people actually wanting to go to your organization in the first place.
Hmm. Definitely. And I think a big part of employer brand is being honest with the world about what it truly is like to work at the company, and realizing that, you know, you want candidates who are looking at your job posting, who are looking at your career site, to opt out. You don't want everyone to opt in and to just apply. You want people that actually align with your company, with its values, with the role, with the work that they would be doing. And so that means you need to detract people as well.
Yeah, no, you got to have the knockout questions. You got to,
Hmm.
and I think that more of that screening of candidates is going to happen on the top of the funnel level. It used to be a whole thing like,
Hmm.
oh, let's go screen these. Like, this is the section of the time where we screen the candidates and make sure they're who they say they are. No, that's going to happen way earlier in the process. So I think as
Hmm.
much as you can make sure that it's the right people you want to be talking to, the better. So I want to
Hmm.
ask you a little bit
Definitely.
about, like, all right, so in this age of AI, have you noticed, and I'm totally putting you on the spot because we haven't talked about this, but I'm just curious that, because I come from a comms world where you would be looking at SEO, you'd be looking at different terms that are like how you're appearing on the web, but now it's how you're appearing in generative AI searches. So have you seen any of that like immediately kind of crop up as you look at your analytics of where people are coming to your company from?
That's interesting, because I know that, with Google's AI kind of always being at the top of search engines now, it's like, yeah, I haven't really tracked whether or not we're getting more or less, or if people are really coming from kind of like AI searches rather than regular Google searches like back in the old days. Um,
Yeah.
but I do think it's really good to attempt to control the narrative as much as you can about your own company, like putting out there lots of great content, lots of really good, um, the copy that you choose and the words that you choose to describe your company, your culture, what you do, what you're all about. Like that's increasingly more important, because that's where AI is pulling all the information from. They're pulling it from your career site, which you can control, but they're also pulling it from Glassdoor reviews and things like that, which you can't control. But at least wrangling in what you can't control will help for sure.
Yeah, and I think the more you can actually look as a practitioner, just be like, go into ChatGPT, just be like, what is it like to work at McKesson? See what it pulls up, because that's the first thing I'm going to do is find out what it's like working at that company. I'm going to go to Glassdoor. I'm going to go to former employees that I might know, and I'm going to ask them, is this place a nightmare? Is this not? Because that's the worst. If you end up getting a job that's a
Hmm.
nightmare, I worked at one place. I will not say who it is. It was early in my career. And actually, no, I can say who it is. It was the Boston Symphony. I love music. And so I got a job at the Boston Symphony, and I remember I walked, fold up, went through the whole process, everything. I'm like, this is great. And I walked in day one, and I'm wearing a suit and tie, and I'm going to have to wear a shirt and tie like every day. And I just knew right off the bat, this is not the right fit for me. And so immediately what I thought was going to be like a fun, I'm starting a new job, is I've made a horrible mistake.
Oh my God, that's so funny. You're like, suit and tie. Mm-mm, I'm out.
No, and I was like, oh, I can do that for a year or two or whatever, but it gets really annoying. It gets really annoying after a while.
Yeah,
But there was
yeah.
also, there was like some
That's very true.
dysfunctionality, and and stuff within the department that I wish there were more tools back then, that I could have actually seen what it was like, because everybody just takes a chance and then you're stuck. Or you used to be, if you're in a bad job, you have to stay there for a year, otherwise you look like there's something wrong with you. Now I think that's going away a little bit, but I love employer branding. I
Definitely.
love everything about it, and thank you for being my like kind of like mini expert on this as we dive into it. I look forward to seeing some more stuff that you're doing, but thanks for your insight into what's going on with employer branding today. If people want to find you on LinkedIn, where do they go?
Yes, of course. Well, thanks so much for having me. You can find me on LinkedIn, Haley De La Grana. Long name, but you know.
Oh, it is. It's like it's beautiful. It's like casting a spell. Sasa de la Grana.
Yes, yes. Yes. I'm very happy and proud to now be a part of this beautiful Spanish culture. And
Yes.
yeah, I love it.
Great. Well, you'll definitely be part of the HR.com like thought leadership crew. We'll have you on again in the future, maybe a future event or something like that. But I appreciate your time, and thank you everybody for listening to us. And follow what Haley's putting out on LinkedIn. She's a great resource.
Thanks for tuning in to the Totally Talent podcast by HR.com. We hope you find today's episode insightful and inspiring. Don't forget to explore more episodes and discover valuable resources at hr.com/podcasts, where you can listen to all of our podcasts. Until next time, keep leading with purpose and making a difference in the world of talent.